Oh man, my cam is all off right now. Uh, what is up, y'all? Actually, let me do that real quick. There we go. Mic check. Can you guys hear me? YouTube, Twitch. Appreciate all the follows, y'all, as well as they're ruthless with the 5 gifted subs off the back already. All right, let me fix this cam real quick because this is bothering me real quick. What with the tier sub, tier 1? Appreciate you. 10 months in a row. What a baller, sir. Sorry, I have been absent. I actually was wanting to talk about the patch notes the past like day and a half, but the problem is that because I was still under NDA, there's gonna be a lot of questions about the patch notes that had information in the patch notes that I actually played, and I didn't really know how to really discuss it without like talking about it. So, to risk not getting in trouble, I just chose not to. I said, I'll just wait till Friday night when the embargo is lifted, and whatnot. So dark mode. Nah, this is how I fix the camera every time. Like you have to do like a bunch of things, like a sequence of stuff. A broken cam. Riptide. Let me ask you a real quick question, by the way. I remember we had like a short conversation about this, like about a month ago during a PTR. Do you know? Because I didn't test this in the review copy of the game, and I wish I did. But I remember you talking about saying that Lucian's bugs were fixed, as in like it works with adaptability, combination dagger, like those kind of things. Can I ask you how certain are you about that? It's not that I don't believe you. It's just that there's a setup I really want to do, but it involves crown, and if it doesn't work, it just all goes to hell. So like I'm worried about making that the main variant on Maxroll until I can like prove that it actually does work. And I think it's more so Heartseeker related, but it's um was it max the FPS with the primes going on? He said, bro, you better not ignore me. It's 5:45 a.m. and I'm here. Spain love, what's going on, man? How you doing? You did try everything. I wonder if Crown actually works with the I mean it should be flat damage, right? So it should work with Victimize as well. Do you have a guess of what rogue will survive in game content? Stuff did hit pretty hard in T4, I will say. It's going to be rather difficult to build Glassy until you're able to get all your Paragon nodes that you want to unlock and branch out to get more damage reduction from there. And the review copy of the game, it was really hard to get much of anything going because you had to farm so many iron chunks, and we were so like blocked from that. It's gonna be a lot better on launch, but like I couldn't like masterwork a lot of my gear because I just didn't have the iron chunks to do so. Me and Woody were both in the same situation where it's just like we were playtesting builds without ancient items and iron chunks or whatever. Or sorry, without ancient items and masterworks and whatnot. So my baseline of what I was testing was very specific because I just couldn't get a lot of the gear. So I didn't have any mythics either to play with. Is there an Uber Mephisto new Pinnacle boss? No. Someone asked me about what would I say would be the S tier rogue builds. So that's a big question mark because no one really played other classes in the review copy of the game. Everybody plays Spiritborn, which is, I mean, obviously that makes sense because, Spiritborn, right? So like, I think, so like I saw no one play Druid. I didn't see anyone play Barbarian. I saw a few people play Sork, but a lot of their stuff is getting kind of axed outside of the Frostburn Azurath stuff. That might still survive. So like it's hard to give a relative comparison, because all we really have to compare it to is like 2 extremely broken Spiritborn builds. And if you compare it to that, then no class has any S tier builds compared to the Spiritborn builds, like Touch of Death, which is obviously broken, bugged. Quill Shot it's got a bug or 2 involved with that. So it's like those are incredibly strong builds, but they're outliers. So if we're comparing other builds to that, then no class really has any S tier builds, technically. So, but it's relative at the moment, and it's hard to know because those 2 builds are supposed to get bug fixes and whatnot. So we don't really know where they're going to end up. So we're kind of guessing. I was waiting for someone to bring up the Dance of Knives Victimize. Let's talk about Dance of Knives Victimize real quick. Because do you not even fight Mephisto? Well, I mean, so as a pinnacle boss, he's not a pinnacle boss, but I'm not gonna spoil anything campaign wise. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Campaign is very good. But let's talk about Dance of Knives Victimize, guys. Let's talk about that for a second, because I actually made a big post on my Discord, kind of giving people a heads up about it even before Mippy's video dropped. I think only me and Mippy were the only 2 rogues that actually played rogue on the review copy of the game. I think Lexi played a little bit of rogue, and then he played a little bit of sword. But anyhow, with that being said, let me give you a breakdown of how this works right now on rogue. Okay. Dance of Knives as a skill without Victimize, like as a skill itself, actually needs a buff. It's actually not that good. It's the best leveling build by far. It's really good for leveling as a direct damage skill for leveling is very good. Direct damage Dance of Knives outside of Victimize is pretty bad. Now, what makes Dance of Knives so good with Victimize is because Dance of Knives has 7 bugs. Count 7 bugs that it can use to exploit Victimize to the maximum. Without those bugs, Victimize falls quite a bit. Sorry, not Victimize. Dance of Knives Victimize falls quite a bit within kind of normal realm. With those bugs, it's about like 15 to 20 tiers higher than any other rogue build. So, that's kind of the issue with Dance of Knives. It is not a fun build to play because you have to perform all 6 or 7 bugs individually. You have to know what these bugs are and know how to perform these said bugs to be able to play Dance of Knives at that level. If you don't, you're going to have a rough time playing that build. It is, it's something that me and Mippy talked about a bit in terms of how to write that for Maxroll, because how do we want to, is it as for some of you guys? I'm sorry. G-Virus subscribed for 7 months in a row. Dang, dude. Appreciate you, man. As done if I restart. Okay, I'll give a short recap. Anyways, when Jay was up, man. So quick recap: Dance of Knives by itself without Victimize is pretty meh. Like it's good for leveling, but that's about it. With Victimize, it's good. It becomes broken when you apply 7 bugs to it. So there's 7 different bugs with Dance of Knives and Victimize that only Dance of Knives can basically abuse. So the reason why Dance of Knives is pretty far ahead of any other rogue build currently so far, at least from the review copy of the game, is because there's 7 bugs that Dance of Knives can abuse that the other skills can't. That's the nature of it. And these bugs aren't necessarily fun to do or perform, but you have to know what they are, and you have to know how to use them to be able to make Dance of Knives Victimize a strong build. Okay, so yeah. without these bugs, Dance of Knives kind of comes back down to earth, and like things like Rapid Fire and even Heartseeker Victimize and Pinch Shot Victimize and Direct Damage Flurry, believe it or not, are actually competitive to Dance or with Dance of Knives. So that's kind of the thing. It's not a fun build to play. I'm gonna tell you straight up right now. It was not a fun build to play. With the bugs, that is. The bugs makes it very clunky and not fun to play. We complained about this. Maybe and I complained about this to the devs a bit, and maybe specifically told them which bugs are happening. So we don't know if that's going to be fixed on launch. Probably not, to be honest with you, but it will get fixed at some point. And if it does, and sorry, not if, when those bugs do get fixed, then basically the entire guide has to be rewritten because you're building around the bugs. I'm not trying to sound so negative about Dance of Knives, to be honest with you. No, like not mid-season bug fix. We're talking about like week 1 or week 2. Because there's supposed to be a big bug fix patch like within like a week or 2 of the game launching. So, yeah. I'm not trying to sound so negative, but I guess the thing is that Rogue's best build is just not fun to play. And it's revolved around more bugs than we've ever had in the past for it to do well in T4 content. And it's sad. It's sad that that's the state of Rogues at the moment. So, and Victimize, the way Victimize works now is it works a lot like Barber Heart from season 1. So if you guys remember the Barber from season 1, that season theme or whatever, it works a lot like that, but it's not nearly as fun. Victimize is not dead. I do want to put it that way. I know people heard about the nerf from like the live stream or whatever like that. Victimize is not dead. It just stores your damage and releases it basically at a 0.6, 0.7 ICD interval. And that's kind of how that works. Delayed damage, it's more like backlog damage. So the idea is for you to pump as many lucky hit procs as you possibly can within the ICD for a big burst hit or whatever. And that sounds like that would be great. But when you have less control over where the Victimize proc actually happens, because it's now like 0.6 or 0.7, it's somewhere around that range in terms of the ICD is concerned, you might get a Victimize proc that is completely away from the mob itself and not where you want it to proc at. Before, when you can proc it a ton of times a second, you know, then it didn't really matter where the Victimize proc at because you're gonna get a lot of different procs happening everywhere. But now with the ICD, you might get 2 or 3 procs that are not where you need it to be or want it, and it ends up affecting your damage and it feels bad. So I think that's the part that Mippy and I don't like about it. So it's not like it's, I understand why they mechanically did that, but I think in scenarios where, like, let's say you're pushing or whatever, for those who like to push or whatever like that, that it ends up you end up fighting RNG basically. And that's rough. Not only that, but Fist of Fate actually now works with Victimize, by the way, like the unique affix, which sounds like there'll be a win, but it means your damage is very sporadic, extremely sporadic, and that makes it even feels worse. So, again, not trying to be a party pooper, but I guess what I'm initially trying to say is for those who are wanting to build Dance of Knives, if all the bugs go through and you want to play it properly, it's going to be, you're going to have a hell of a hard time playing it properly, and you're probably not going to enjoy it. But you will deal very good damage if you manage to pull it off and you want to play that way. Kill 'em all with a sub. Appreciate you, man. 38 months. How's it going, man? How you doing? How do I think Marina Barrels will be? Not worth. Gonna be honest. Not worth. Reptile said, "What piss was I clearing on rapid fire?" I couldn't do any pushing because I didn't even have an ancient sky hunter, so I didn't have any ancient gear at all. So I didn't do any push. I think my my test my test pits were basically 65 at the moment, and so I was just trying to figure out how fast could I clear 65s on several different builds. So that was my, because like 65 is basically Torment 4. Like that's your gateway to get into Torment 4. And I think that's important to know how quickly can a build get into T4, right? That matters a lot more. And Rapid Fire was pretty easy to do it with. It took me like 6 minutes or whatever for the 65 with pretty shit gear. Heartseeker took me 5 minutes actually to do with shit gear. Other builds struggled to do it, to do the 65, or other set builds, but like things like Twisting Blades struggled a ton. Random Arrows struggled a lot. Physical Barrage kind of struggled a bit. Anything that isn't victimized related kind of struggled outside of Rapid Fire. And it's not like Physical Barrage struggled to get to the boss. It's just killing the boss was hard. And Umber Crux didn't really help that issue, interestingly enough. You think you saw me playing Heartseeker with Rudy? Yeah, I was. Heartseeker is actually, yeah, Heartseeker's interesting. It's in an interesting spot because it does a good job of proccing Victimize without all the bugs tied to it, like Dance of Knives. But obviously, it can't compete with Dance of Knives because it doesn't have all the bugs to help it proc Victimize better, obviously. But Heartseeker does enough. You can build Heartseeker to be direct damage for Heartseeker to actually pump some actual damage outside of Victimize. So when I build Heartseeker on Maxroll, it's going to be a hybrid. So your damage doesn't suck outside of Victimize proc. So like you're going to actually deal damage in between the Victimize procs, which actually feels really good. I'm actually kind of excited about that because I think it's a sleeper kind of at the moment. Because of what you can do. But yeah, I mean, I honestly think Rapid Fire and Heartseeker are probably your two strongest builds behind Victimize Dance of Knives, but doesn't compete with Victimize Dance of Knives. What's my plan with Rogue? I don't know. Did I add New World Boss? No. Nope. He says sold me into going to Spiritborn. Honestly, I probably would tell you to do that. As much as I love some Rogue, man, I think until Blizzard can really figure out how to make Rogue a good all-around class without us abusing some bugs or as many bugs as possible, for us to stay relevant, I think Spiritborn is probably the way to go, to be honest with you. Like, I'm still going to start with Rogue, but like, I think you'll have more fun playing Spiritborn because Dance of Knives, which is supposed to be our new fun skill, has to be, it's just basically butchered with bugs in terms of accessibility. So yeah, it can be strong eventually, but those bugs will get fixed at some point. And then now all your gear is ruined. And then now what? So, and you can't really build Dance of Knives any other way. You can't do Andario's Dance of Knives. It sucks. Alchemical Dance of Knives is not good. Close Quarters Combat Dance of Knives is not good. Momentum, well, you can't really do Momentum Dance of Knives. But yeah, I mean, none of the other options for Dance of Knives is really good. It's just not. What about poison builds? I mean, you could do like poison rapid fire, but you're not like scaling the poison. You're just doing it for unconditional damage in a sense, like an unconditional damage rapid fire sort of build. But that's not really poison. Twisting Blaze is poison though. So Twisting Blaze alchemical advantage is poison. So like that's your poison build basically. Is it good? I mean, it's okay. But there are no poison builds that are going to stand out. I'll put it that way. So first campaign played through Spiritborn, Jaguar, Gorilla, Centipede. So I actually didn't get a chance to play much Spiritborn at all in the review. So like I don't really know much about what you should do for leveling. I heard Centipede is really good for leveling. There are actually quite a few builds on Spiritborn that's like really good for leveling, but I think they kind of have a similar issue too in terms of like two builds are just being way stronger than anything else. But some of the other builds that aren't as strong are just so much fun to play that you're not going to really care. And the fact that you can deal damage out of stagger is just insane on Spiritborn. Like Spiritborn can actually kill bosses before stagger or without having to stagger, and that's something I wish Rogue can do at some point. Just plan to play Andy's Puncture with a new key passive is not worth. Not worth. Andy's is just dead. Andy's in general is dead. I'm not saying don't do it, but I think you're going to be very disappointed because they actually also included an ICD for Andy's. So it no longer procs as often as it used to. So Andy's is in a rough spot. How the leveling and progression feel? You have to level in the campaign because you have to play the campaign, at least the expansion campaign. Like you can't really not do that. So the leveling through the campaign was actually pretty seamless. I didn't really struggle on Rogue leveling at all. I did Barrage. I even leveled where I did Barrage. I did a mix of Barrage sometimes and then Rapid Fire sometimes for leveling. I actually found Rapid Fire to be a little quicker for leveling. Ironically enough, I was able to find a way to do a 1-to-1 ratio with Rapid Fire and Puncture. And since campaign has a lot of single target big dudes that you have to fight because it's campaign stuff, Rapid Fire made more sense. Now the problem is I need to write a leveling Rapid Fire guide. And that's a lot of work right now with all the new changes we're doing on Maxroll. So I may not be able to get to that. I may not be able to get around to that until like maybe Monday. 1-to-1 explain? Sure. So when you're leveling on Rapid Fire, right? Once you have Puncture and you can proc vulnerable, then you basically take improve Rapid Fire, and basically you can 1-to-1 the majority of the time. You will eventually run out of energy, but like you can 1-to-1 at least 4 or 5 times before your energy actually gets low. So you can do 1 Puncture, 1 Rapid Fire, 1 Puncture, 1 Rapid Fire, as long as you're hitting that one vulnerable target, because you're getting your energy back, and because you're firing so slow that early anyways, that you can actually keep up that. Yeah, you're not even at precision yet. So I'm talking about like early leveling. We're talking about like even before you get combo points, etc. But yeah, and even when you get combo points, honestly, 1-to-1 was still better for a little while until you started getting aspects that kind of supported more of the other bigger combo point stuff. Then you kind of wanted to get out of that. But yeah, early game though, like early game, Puncture Rapid Fire 1-to-1 was actually really good. No new bug tech. It was just a clever way of being able to use Rapid Fire early. That's it. What would the top rogue build be? Definitely Victimized Dance of Knives, but it has about 7 bugs associated with it. So it just depends on how many of those bugs go through and if you know how to actually use each one of those bugs. That's the short version. Clark or Clark, yeah. Did they rapid fire at the beginning of season 5 and you got sick of it? Yeah. It's actually pretty good. It's actually pretty good for leveling. For sure. Especially campaign, since you have to play campaign. And big targets are, you're going to be fighting strong single targets. Sorry. Pretty early in the campaign. So I actually think rapid fire leveling is better than barrage leveling, and barrage leveling is pretty good. But I say this just for season 6 though. I can't speak on season 7 and beyond because we don't have to play the campaign in season 7. So that might change things. Thanks, Embargo. Appreciate the sub, man. For 7 months in a row. Appreciate you. How did Torment 4 feel? I actually didn't play too much of Torment 4. When I say too much, I mean like I dabbled into it a bit, but it was hard for me to get my resistances and armor cap, given the fact that I couldn't masterwork anything. And so no masterworks, had no mythics. He said Victimize look weak now. Ironically enough, it's still Rogue's strongest key passive. So because there are still some multipliers that still doubled it with Victimize. So it is kind of is what it is. It does have an internal cooldown, but it works like Barber now, where it backlogs all your damage. It's really not as much fun anymore. I'm gonna be honest. So the damage isn't really the issue right now of Victimize. It's the fun factor. It's just not much fun to play. Just gonna be honest with you. Victimize is really not that much fun. If the reign of Vero spam specs seems good too, if it's still a thing, not really. Now when I say not good, I'm referring to, can you make it to T4 and actually play T4 content? That's what I mean. I think everything for the most part is pretty viable in T3. So you can do literally anything you want in T3 and it works fine. Like it actually performs well. So everything performs well in T3. T4 is where the gap starts to really, you might need to start to specialize in some sort of setup, like a real setup. I'm not gonna say any spoilers. No, I'm not gonna talk about any campaign stuff. So no campaign. So Dance of Nine is the go-to. I hate the problem Dartless is that in terms of pure unadulterated damage and being able to abuse Victimize, yes, but I can't say that that's going to be for everybody. Not everybody is going to want to have to track or keep track of 6 or 7 different manually casted bugs to make it work. So I think here's what I predict. If all the bugs go through, people are going to try to build that build, and Mippy is going to get a lot of people asking, why am I not dealing any damage? And the bugs are not easy to keep track of. So there's going to only be a few people relative to the amount of people who are looking at that gap that's going to be able to actually perform that build, because you have to know how to abuse the build, the bugs to be able to make it work. That's going to be the issue. So people are going to build it. Some people are going to do well with it, and others are going to be very frustrated with it and then wondering why it doesn't work, and then they'll claim that the build sucks or whatever. And I kind of feel for Mippy for that, because he's the one that's writing that guide, right? So I'm not telling Mippy, I'm like, you're gonna get a lot of people frustrated with trying to play that. Guys, should we decrease your armor by 1,000 due to world tier 4 decrease? Yep, sure do. So basically on the planner, you would need 2k armor. Yeah, you would need 2,000 armor to really be able to cap out armor. Theory crafted, what's going on, man? You don't even know what the bugs are? So there's inner sight bugs, multiple. Inner sight bugs, Umbercrux bug. Inner sight bugs, Umbercrux bug. I'm trying to remember what all the bugs are again. Hold on. I want to make sure I actually get I have it listed actually. So yeah, inner sight bug, couple of inner sight bugs, bug with Shadow Clone, bug with Umbercrux. Spam tap is still there, but that's I guess you can kind of link that as one of the 3 inner sight bugs or inner sight related bugs with Dancing Knives and Victimize. So yeah, so there's 3 bugs for inner sight, one with Shadow Clone / inner sight, bug with Umbercrux, spam tap, and there's like one more I'm missing. Okay, so I forgot what I was doing here. I'm gonna have to get back to doing whatever it is I thought I was doing. I guess I lowered my armor, didn't I? I did by doing that. Also, Crafty, I don't know if you're still there, but I want to talk to you after stream or later on. Just tell me one thing about the expansion overall. It's awesome, right? I think they did a great job with the content. Like all the different types of content we're playing and whatnot. They did a great job giving you different ways to be able to build your character or to be able to make your character and build your character. So like Undercity is actually really cool. It's basically a gauntlet, but way better. The gauntlet, but way better. Dark Citadel is actually a lot of fun. I don't know if you saw Woody's video or Chronic's video of me playing with them. Because I was playing with them in the Dark Citadel for the first time. Like I haven't played that before until I played it with them. And so like they made me raid lead for that content, and it was actually hilarious because I had no idea what I was doing, and I got them killed like every room. It was actually quite hilarious. But as someone who doesn't really care about group play or care about raid type play, I actually thought the Dark Citadel raid stuff was actually kind of fun. Like the different things that you kind of have to keep track of was actually quite fun to do. It really was. The rewards were okay. Like they're not like you don't necessarily need to be doing Dark Citadel all the time, which I think is a great thing because it's not gated content in which is like if you're a solo player, you're missing out by not doing Dark Citadel if you don't want to. So like I think the rewards are what it needs to be to make it not feel like you're forced to do Dark Citadel. Like they're good, especially if you can speed farm it. But it's nothing that you can't already get in other places. So you're doing it for the fun factor, challenge factor kind of thing. It's actually really challenging, especially if you have no idea what to do. I died a lot the first time I played because I just literally just didn't know any of the mechanics. But so you're kind of sad you can't do unlimited hordes. A birdie once told me, I'm using Rack's language now. A birdie once told me that there are plans to scale that content. That's kind of all I'm gonna say. Kind of want to go into Dark Citadel blind, to be honest. It was fun as hell. It was a lot of fun. I can see myself doing it with friends for sure. I probably will never use a party finder and play with random strangers. I'm not gonna do. but I think it was fun with friends in general. Man. Okay, so let me take another look at Heartseeker real quick, because if what Riptide is saying is correct and Crafty is saying is correct too, I want to make a planner um with Lucian, because I much rather do this with Lucian actually than Perdition actually. Because the amount of like flow combat that would make this so much cooler to play would be insane with Lucian instead. But without saying anything about the storyline or the new class, dope. Um, it's good. It's good. I think like I said, I think that they did a really good job with adding things, content, systems, those kind of things. What they do a pretty bad job of, and they consistently do a pretty bad job of, is tackling bugs. So I'm a little frustrated because, like, it for me, it kind of hampers my fun when things are like bugged and don't work. Either don't work, or some things are just severely bugged to where something that is like really cool and new won't get any attention until the bugs are fixed, and then people are going to be upset, aka Dance of Knives. And it's like, it's just frustrating. So like it we go into something that's going to be really, really cool, to have to experience a bunch of bugs that will certainly dampen the experience, specifically if you're a rogue player. um I will say that I don't know if they're planning on fixing any bugs. Well, actually, let me phrase that. Another birdie, quote unquote, made rumors, I guess you could say, is that there's more bug fixes that did not make it into 2.0.2. So I don't know what that means. Forgive me if you're going over this or it's common knowledge at this point. What's the idea behind the stat squish systems for this season's expansion? Honestly, it just needed to happen. Seeing numbers in the billions and trillions is just absurd. Why? Like, there's no reason for numbers to be that big, because then the numbers have no value on the screen because the numbers are just so big. So like, people who like to see progression with their damage numbers, um, Rob does still do 30 billion. So I'm gonna use Woody Joe's example, because Woody Joe explained this really well. That 30 billion that Rob hit, or a couple of 30 billions or whatever, is hitting a specific training dummy or dummies after a certain amount of time to be able to scale that damage up to be able to hit that number on a setup that is really bugged at the moment. So doing 30 billion is different than like he's managing 30 billion DPS. That's like, and people kept coming to me, he's like, oh yeah, Rogue, we're still doing like billions of damage in like season 3 or whatever. And then I was like, was that the one shot Rogue? And it's like, well, yeah. I'm like, well, so Rogues aren't doing billions of damage or billion DPS. It's just that they were able to hit a couple of billions for a one-time thing that needs like 30-second cooldown. Yeah, but he still does like 1.5 billion. Well, I mean, yeah, fair. But like, when people say he's doing 30 billion damage, like, that's the context matters. I mean, hell, Bone Spirit can probably hit those numbers on training dummies, easily. But I mean, it doesn't translate into combat. But in terms of big numbers, though, when you say 1.5 billion, true. But like I was saying earlier in the stream, that's based off of bugs. Most builds are not hitting anywhere near that. Not even close. like most builds are probably going. You'll probably see them in the lower, like lower millions, double digit millions kind of things, like or whatever. Like lower double digit millions is probably like where you'll probably see like the high hits of most builds. Um, billions is definitely an outlier, big time. Yeah, I prefer to only see commas, comma tops and damage. Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of funny because like imagine what that Thomas, imagine what that would have been without some of the stat squish stuff, right? Like how insane would that have been? All right, so I would try to be a dealer in the first week. Oh man, yeah, but I mean, Spiritborn is gonna get a couple of nerfs. Oh, not bugs, sorry, nerfs, bug fixes. Let's just put it that way, which I guess you can call it nerfs or whatever. Before it launch or by launch. So we'll kind of see where they kind of end up. But I know a lot of people are comparing the classes to the Spiritborn, like what the Spiritborn is doing, and it kind of makes sense. I mean, Spiritborn is kind of you see two extremely strong builds, maybe three, that are all kind of outliers, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm gonna do this planner with Lucian. Cast a skill the cooldown for the shrouds. Actually, what did I have here? Oh yeah. Okay. Cast an ultimate skill. That's what I had. Actually, wait a minute. Is Zan still in the game, or was that one of the runes that was removed? I don't remember. See, it was 2.0.1. Sorry, guys, give me a sec. Little days from words. Runes remove or no met. Okay, so it's not one of the ones that's removed. Okay, good. Good. All right, so Zam, which should be extremely good in this setup here. And so I'm gonna have to go Tyrio's Might here. Because I'm gonna have to go Beast Fall bids, which means I'm gonna have to go Starless to make this work. So we'll just remove this one. Why is it you log in to watch D4 play and they're always in menus? I'm not a menu. I'm not a menus. This is a D4 planner. Yeah. I mean we're at the end of the season and we're just all like preparing for the next season expansion launch. So right now, yeah, you're watching planners at the moment because there's really no reason to actually play the game itself. I'm gonna have to do a task speed there, but I'm gonna have to calculate the breakpoints and see if I like what I see there. Okay, so got crown there. We need to get barrier conceded here. Oh no, cold clip. Oops. The PoE is 80% path to building. True. Very true. All right, so with this, you can basically cast Shadow Clone as long as you're attacking. You can cast Shadow Clone about every like almost like 3.5 seconds roughly. So you'll have perma unstoppable, and then you basically have all these skills off of cooldown almost all the time, meaning that you can pretty much fly around the battlefield as often as you would like. I hate that I have to have cold and blue beam on the bar, because cold clip still doesn't work with Eldritch Bounty, at least not in the review build. Maybe that gets fixed on launch. I don't know. But in the meantime, I have to include it. I would much rather not. Bill or bull, it makes a difference in the decision. But yeah, if crown actually does work, this would be a very fun setup. I guess we'll just go into lucky hit chance. Because yeah, ultimate cooldown. Could do agile, but yeah, you got ultimate cooldown. Yeah, so basically every like 3 seconds you'll be able to cast the crap out of this Shadow Clone. Might even think about doing death traps so you can gather them all together to make victimize stronger. So yeah, did they fix it? Fix which part or what part? I'm running this up, man. Oh yeah. So I didn't test it myself, but the word on the street is saying that some things were fixed with it. Not all, but some things were fixed with it. So I don't know what that means. But there are some people who are saying it that are pretty reputable. So it's like I'm gonna make a planner for it. And I might put an asterisk, but I don't know if I'll make this the main setup because I need to confirm that this works the way it is. Because if it does, then definitely crown goes here, like no question. But I don't want to go. I don't want to be like the guy where like I don't know. Like I just want to be certain first. I'm gonna play it, or actually, test it or whatnot, and be 100% certain that they didn't like muck anything up again. But I at least want to have a plan already because, like I said, I do believe the guys who told me that it works the way it does. So it's like I believe them, but I want to be like extra sure. Just a new victimizer, is it bad? It's not bad. It feels bad, but it's not bad. Like it still does. It's still probably Rogue's strongest key passive. The booty was going on. Have been talking about you behind your back always. Every stream, every time. How's it going, Devoody? I even haven't decided whether or not on this do I want to focus on going Dex. I threw you off. I was gonna say no. What's happening, man? I don't know if I really want to go Dex. I focus more on Dex with percent damage up here, like going GA percent damage, percent Dex. Sorry, because I kind of like because this is kind of built as a hybrid. So like Heartseeker itself is actually dealing damage. So granted, obviously more of your damage is being dealt by Victimized, but because now it has an internal cooldown, your actual Heartseeker damage kind of does matter a little bit since you can stack some really high multipliers. So like the Heartseeker damage itself is actually not bad. So like, granted, I could focus more on vulnerable damage here, obviously, but it's pretty additive for Heartseeker itself. But it's a scaler for Victimize, whereas Dexterity is a scaler for both, if that makes sense. So I don't know if I want to try to like balance the scale a little bit, or do I still want to focus on vulnerable? I haven't really decided yet, but I guess it's pretty easy to change if I find out that Victimize is doing like 90% of the carrying, which in my experience was more like 65-35. 65 as if it's like Victimized, 35% was Heartseeker damage, which I think is a pretty decent ratio considering that Victimize is still pretty strong. You haven't seen me in a while? Yeah, I've been busy, man. I've been busy mainly with Maxroll stuff behind the scenes, and also playing the review build for like the past week. How much damage does it add by going Dex? Well, I can't really give you a specific number. It just depends on all the other stuff that you have, right? As well as whether you have Dex percent or not, how much Dex you have in the Paragon board, like all those things. There's a lot of appliers. I can't give you like a flat number. But it's gonna like Dex is always a good stat, like in general. So like if you're looking to get damage that doesn't scale necessarily with a key passive, then Dex is always like your best option. Well, Dex doesn't double dip. They also removed the 2x scaler of main stat that was in the PTR. That no longer exists. I played any Spiritborn, didn't have any time to, really. And everybody else was. Like literally 95% of the people who were playing the review copy of the game was playing Spiritborn when I was playing. So yeah. I think this is it for the most part. I think for this particular variation. So like I have the Perdition one. I got this one here. Beast Ball boots are basically going to be required. Beast Ball boots still worked in terms of the cold clip thing, like that still worked. So I don't know if that's being fixed. I doubt it's going to, but I will make a planner that doesn't have it. That's like kind of like a just in case. When the guys are gonna be up in Maxroll, they'll be trickling in starting tomorrow or Saturday. So like Saturday is when you'll start seeing guides kind of start to populate. So we'll have like about maybe half of them done tomorrow, or half of them will be posted probably on Saturday, and then they'll start trickling in on Sunday and Monday. Like I don't think I'll have my stuff done. Well, I might have 2 of the 4 things I need to do by the end of Saturday, and then the other 2 will be on Sunday. And they buff Renoveros, they did, but it just It's fine in T3, but that's don't I wouldn't expect anything further than that. Everything is actually fine in T3. Just like on Spiritborn, yeah. So like all those things, yeah. So like, yeah, there's some scaling that isn't supposed to happen on Spiritborn, but you know, surprise, right? Or rather, not surprised, right? How long did it take for me to get going into T4 comfortably? Well, it's hard to say based off the review build because we were Iron Chunk starved because they didn't give us any way to be able to farm Iron Chunks at all in the review portion of the beta. So a lot of us just did testing without Masterworks, without ancient items because we just couldn't imprint, we couldn't imprint, we couldn't enchant ancient items because they were so expensive for Iron Chunks. So we just a lot of us just did a lot of, you know, like base gear testing. So I will say that it didn't take me very long on Rapid Fire, nor did it take me very long on Heartseeker. Everything else was kind of a struggle. I didn't do too much Dance of Knives because Mippy was doing a lot of that. Obviously, Dance of Knives got there with if you apply all the bugs, Dance of Knives was very, very good. Victimized that Dance of Knives. But also Flurry, believe it or not, direct damage Flurry is actually doing pretty good. Now I say pretty good, that's relative to what it has been in the past. I know you didn't play Spiritborn, but is Spiritborn busted from what you heard? There's 2 builds that are busted, but they're also based off of bugs. So like complete outlier of bugs at the moment. So I don't know if those will get fixed at launch, so we'll kind of see. But yeah, they're really big outliers right now. That's the build I thought dancing was going to be top, but rapid fire is right under that, correct? I mean, Dance of Knives is, I mean, Dance of Knives is like in a league of his own because of all the bugs. So it's hard to tell where that's going to end up because we don't know if any of those will be fixed by launch. I don't think it will. But yeah, what's my thought about the nerf to Victimize? They didn't really nerf it. I mean, Victimize is still Rogue's strongest key passive, so I mean, it's not like, it's one of those things where like I honestly didn't even know they nerfed Victimize until they actually mentioned it on the live stream. I put it that way. Apparently, Victimize was bugged in PTR, in which it was scaling 220% of your damage versus 120% of the. Sorry, it was giving you 220% of your vulnerable stat amount versus 120%. So that's what the bug was. So they fixed that. I didn't even know they did that. So I didn't know that they did that into the live stream. I actually had to ask privately, or specifically a dev. I'm like, what was the bug? Because it's like, what bug was fixed? Because, yeah. Did I try bitter medicine? What's that? And chat, what do you think about the death dance builds? Are strong enough to clear pit 100 or higher in good time? No. Not without some, no. I'll just say no. Let's just say no. It really couldn't even do it with the bugged perdition. So answer is no. Do I know if dancing not still snapshots concealment's 100% correct? Yes. Yeah, you said they toned down victimize. I mean, honestly, like I said, not really. I mean, I didn't even notice it was nerfed because they put an ICD on it. So like, there's no way to be able to tell exactly what it used to be in PTR because the whole functionality of how it procs changed. So like, we didn't even know it was nerfed. We just I it was interesting because I was the one that actually figured out that there was an ICD on the new victimized because they didn't tell us. So like in the review beta, it was kind of like, or the review copy of the game, it was like, uh, Mippy was playing or whatnot, and like I was asking him like, well, what? Because I was seeing him do his build or whatever, and I was asking him like, what are your numbers you're seeing on your victimized? He's like, yeah, I'm seeing, X amount per like half second or something like that. And I thought to myself, I'm like, per half second? What do you mean per half second? Victimized should be procking all the time. And I'm thinking maybe he had like maybe like a low value Fist of Fate or something. And he's like, no, his is GA. He has a GA Fist of Fate. I was like, okay, well, it's definitely not that then. And like, well, something's up then. Like maybe the lucky hit chance is really, really low on Dance of Knives or something. So when I actually hopped on Heartseeker to test some victimized stuff, I realized I'm like, wait a minute. The victimized procs are not procking back to back anymore. So I spent like 5 minutes attacking the dummy to try to see if I can get like multiple procs happening. And I even did multiple dummies and stuff like that to see if I can get more than one proc to happen. Never did for 5 minutes. So I'm like, okay, there's an ICD obviously. So that I did that. I recorded a video for myself to do some video editing to look at the frames or whatever and figured out that there's an internal cooldown that they slapped onto it. This is before the patch notes came out and you guys saw that they did what they did. But yeah, so they put an internal cooldown on it, and then it was like, okay, now we need to figure out what that really means. So me and Mippy kind of did a lot of testing inside there to see what Victimize is really doing. And it's like, we found out that it's backloading all your damage, or backlogging all your damage within the ICD windows. So like all the procs that would have happened is now happening in one big burst per 0.6 seconds roughly. So is Victimize dead? No, it's not. It's still Rogue's strongest key passive. So as we speak, Dancing Knives is still probably strong. Oh, there is no probably. Victimize Dancing Knives, Dance of Knives. If all 7 bugs go through live, it is by far Rogue's strongest build. But if you play Victimize, if you play Dance of Knives without Victimize, then you're going to be sorely disappointed unless you're leveling. Leveling with Dance of Knives is really good. But in-game Dance of Knives without Victimize is pretty bad. 7 bugs. Yep, Timus. Yep, 7. Durzo, I said, sorry, it's 0.6 seconds, not 26 seconds. That'd be a really bad ICD, man. That would be awful. Yeah, so I did that. Let's take a look at this. Let's clone this real quick. Okay, and this is gonna be, I think I'm gonna try to do this as like ultra try hard here. So Rakonoff's Wake. Or Yin, maybe Yin. Let's go Yin. Let's do Yin. I have to see how Victimized feels for yourself with the change, see if you enjoy it. I'm gonna be honest with you. The new dance, like the Victimized Dance of Knives with all the bugs you have to apply to make it work well, is not fun. It's not fun at all. Even Mippy, who literally only plays meta and is fine with anything, usually as long as it's really strong, doesn't like the Victimized Dance of Knives stuff. That says a lot. I wonder the 8% of people that are going to go Spiritborn as a first class. Like basically everybody. Basically everybody. What was the highest pit you were able to comfortably do on Rogue with any build? I didn't push any pits on the review version because I couldn't get enough iron chunks to masterwork my gear. Or masterwork or get any ancestral gear that I can imprint stuff on. So like there was zero reason to actually try to do any real pushing. Yeah, we were all iron chunk starved. So like it was very hard to get like a good geared build out. So most of us just you said the grind is real. No, so like the problem is that they gave us no way to be able to farm iron chunks really, and that's fixed on launch. Like that's not, you won't have that problem on launch, but it was a big problem in the review copy of the game, and they told us that it was. It's like, yeah, sorry, we that change didn't make it, and that was a big problem, a massive problem for us. So does the game feel different than what we had in season 5? Yes, for sure. It is very different. I'll put it that way. So from all the apart from the damage stuff, am I excited after playing for the content and what the expansion brings? Yes. So the content and what they did system wise, and even the season theme stuff, is actually incredibly cool. Even Dark Citadel was actually a lot of fun. I think what hampers it for me right now is just the amount of bugs right now in the game that kind of makes things, I don't want to say rough, but it makes things hard to enjoy. They really need to get on that. We're about to have a pretty big issue on Dance of Knives going into launch in this current state. That's going to piss off a lot of people. Based on what you need to do to be able to make sure it plays well. And that sucks. And it's not only that, but the bugs are not even fun. The bugs are not even fun to use. They actually make the build extremely I'm gonna say extremely, but really clunky. So like Rogue's, by far best build is one that people are probably not going to want to play, and two, may not even be able to perform said build because doing the bugs are not easy. Like it's not easy to actually replicate all those bugs. So you have to know how to do them. There's window timings for it, for two of the 7 bugs. So like it's a mess right now. Dance of Knives is spinning when Rogue, yes. The problem is that like, because Dance of Knives Victimized is it's further ahead, considerably further ahead than any other Rogue build, that just becomes a problem. Like if it was bugged like that and it was like maybe in the middle of the pack, or like maybe like towards the top, but somewhat equal to some of the other top performing builds, it may not be as much of a problem in a sense. I mean, obviously you still want to get it fixed, but it's going to bring a lot of attention because of how strong because of how completely busted it is. And that's going to be a thing. So like, yeah, I don't know. Like it's hard for me to be hyped for it. And I kind of feel for Mippy. When he's putting the guy out on Maxroll for that. How do I like the new area? It's gorgeous, man. The new area is gorgeous. It looks so good. I wonder if I should, so for try hard, I wonder if I should do Shroud? Probably Shroud, because I mean that's resource generation. So, and if I'm not using Beast Floppers, if I can kind of masterwork resource generation, that might make it easier to be able to sustain Wouldn't Shroud really boost that damage? I mean, yeah, but I can also go a regular chest and use an aspect to get kind of close to the damage I'm missing. So it's not like, I guess the bigger thing would be the resource generation, honestly. And obviously the +1 to passes, but the resource generation would be very nice to have. Monty is really good now, so I'm gonna use Monty here, and then we're gonna. But you also get more damage reduction with the regular chest because then you can do plus ranks to Dark Shroud. So like a regular chest is actually a better overall chest for both, for to be able to have a little bit of both. But I mean, Shroud of Frost Death is obviously just very good, like all around. So I mean, the thing about it is that so the +1 to all passive ranks is realistically between 30 to 40% more damage depending on the build you're playing. So like it's like not as strong as like, let's say, a Perdition Helm or something like that, right? I mean, 30 to 40 damage is good. It's not bad. It's good, but it's like an aspect can kind of get me close to that. Like I can do, let's say, concussive and get 25%, right? And then so obviously it may not be as good as obviously 30 to 40%, but I can also get +8 ranks to Dark Shroud for some damage reduction. That's big, right? So like, sure, Shroud would be the ultimate DPS chest, but how much better it is versus like a regular chest, let's say, for as an example, it's like may not be worth taking depending on what you're trying to do. Good to hear because Legion events are already burnt out. Durza, yeah, that's fair. Okay, so if I do Yin's Blessing. Speaking of which, where is my resistances now with that? Okay, so 43, 43, 68. Yeah, I guess it's not a problem. I can always just masterwork the resistances there. I can keep the armor there. What's my armor value actually starting off on this? Okay, 21 nice. I guess not bad. Okay, so I mean, at least we meet that. So it's basically just solving the resistance issue, which is not really an issue. I can just masterwork with some resistances here. Let's do a 3 masterwork here. Where does that put me? Yep, there we go. We're capped. All I gotta do is masterwork that. Or I can also go this way and kind of put some resistances this way on Paragon or whatever, so I can finagle that pretty easily. But there really isn't anything else here I would want that I would care about. I mean, all stats is, I have too much additive damage for all stats to really matter. Put emphasis on that. Resource generation would actually be pretty nice though. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then how the rogues fare? It was okay. The problem is just it's hard. I think right now it's hard to really get a gauge on like where Blizzard really wants, like how Blizzard really wants us to play in T4. Like, is T4 supposed to be like a farmable, like super quick farmable content in a sense, outer world, or is it supposed to be a little bit of a challenge? It's kind of hard to say because some things are just obviously broken or it's just extremely strong that we're actually like just destroying T4, but a lot of builds weren't, right? So we don't really know what the metric is of what they're trying to achieve or what they want to achieve with that. So in my opinion, that's kind of part of the problem. it's kind of hard to know where, like, what's a good baseline of a good performing build per se. So I guess we all just compare ourselves to Spiritborn, and then we kind of go down from there. But that's, I don't know if that's really a fair comparison, but it kind of is what it is because that's kind of all we got. So in 1 year since a AAA game released, Apex or Spectre, right? Ubisoft, quadruple A game, Blizzard. It's weird. The precedent set satire. They really just need to do like they honestly just need to sit down and do a patch. Like just do one huge, completely just bug fixing like patch. Like don't do anything balanced. Don't do any like content stuff. Don't do any adding or whatever. Just sit there and legit focus on just like get everybody's hands on deck. You know, pull everybody from every department. Pull the Overwatch people. Pull everybody. Pull people from King. Pull everybody from every department and just get hands on all bugs, man. Just everybody. Hell, start outsourcing. You know, get people from other companies. Hey, bro, can you help us with some bug fixes? Something like, like just do a massive we're gonna just wipe out as many bugs as we possibly can, and just one freaking patch. Really good. Appreciate the sub, man. Not much in the row. Wish software worked that way. Pulling people from other teams make more buzz. That's also pretty true, I guess. Yeah, but I mean, I guess maybe what they can do is probably test and see if other bugs come up. So you kind of have like a bigger team of QA. Just make all the extra people like QA people, so we can kind of get, you know, results back faster in terms of what's still bugged or what bug fix bugged out another bug. See what I'm saying? So they can be useful somewhere, somehow, right? Yeah. So I guess with that being said, though, like again, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer in terms of the content or the going into the expansion. Like I'm so hyped about it. I'm excited to play. I look forward to playing. Right. Um, I am just kind of bugs will always kind of dampen the mood for me a little bit. But I do think overall, as like the expansion as an overall thing, aside from Paragon, which I think they just lazily done so far, just still needs an update. Um, has been really good. What I don't like though, I will say this too. What I don't like though is I think the gameplay loop for D4 is still kind of you're gearing everything to continue to push pits basically. And pits haven't changed really. At least in the review copy of the game. So like your end goal is still kind of what it was before. You just have many ways to get there now, and those ways are way more fun. But your testing of said gear at that point, other than like let's say T4. I mean, T4 is going to be pretty challenging for a lot of folks, a lot of players initially. But like once you actually can do T4 pretty well, and you have to get your gear pretty well, and it's all matchworks like that, like you're basically down to basically the pit pushing aspect of things. And I wish there was another way or other ways to be able to. Well, I guess there is Dark Citadel though. I guess there is. Yeah, I guess there is T4 Dark Citadel. That's going to be really hard. But yeah, let's hear all the details now that it's past October 4th. I mean, I can answer any question now. I've been answering all the questions. All the questions. What's this conceded? Gear drops seem way slower, so gearing up is much slower. Not really. Not really. I mean, um, the gear drops were a better quality in general. I didn't really feel like I was starving for gear. I'll put it that way. Is Barb still busted? No. Got any idea what the best road build is going to be? A very bugged, victimized Dance of Knives. Robin's actually having a great time on Spiritborn, so I don't even think he even cares. I don't think he even cares right now. He'll play whatever is meta at this point. Rob will play whatever is meta and just roll with that. And so Spiritborn is meta, so Rob's playing Spiritborn. Yeah, Undercity. You're gonna spend, considering that. Well, see, the thing about it is that Undercity can be, or at least when you add the stuff to it, can be expensive, like gold wise. But I think you'll be spending quite a bit of time at Undercity because you can kind of tailor your gear. You can kind of focus on what you need for parts of your gear. I think that was like one of the coolest things they added this time around was that. So being able to target farm gear pieces and stats is very good. I watched Rex's video earlier today about Spiritborn. Holy cow, I'm excited for that class. Spiritborn is definitely a really good design class. Was Go hard to get? Not really. Okay, so this will be, this is the the tryhard or dice tryhard seeker, I guess, because I have to not go Yin's Blessing, or I have to not go Beastfall Boots basically, to make it work. So people are gonna, I think this would perform really well, but I mean, it really won't have energy issues, but I know how many people were kind of talking about that last season, right? Even when I thought they didn't have energy issues. So Beastfall Boost is basically standard on all the planners now. But the farming of passives on amulets, that sounds incredible. I never got a single amulet to roll with a passive in the entire review copy of the game. Now, of course, you can get that to roll on an amulet when you do the Undercity thing, yes. But I never saw it as a drop. I never saw a single passive on an amulet as an amulet drop or gambled or whatever. So so all the builds that I tested, I did not have a single passive on my amulet. Yeah, this will work. Because I'm able to cap all my resistance. It's easy. Actually, why am I at 86 now? 86, 86, 86. Did I overdo it? Oh, Ring of Sterlis. That's right, because it has an additional 12. Okay. Got it. So I guess I don't have to go that high anymore. 68, 168. I guess I could cap. Just do that. There we go. And I'll probably run that one mercenary that's going to give me 15% all res anyways. So I might could just go all stats here and be fine. Still be capped because of that mercenary. Yeah. Just this is my personal planner anyways. I guess it's fine for me to do. Did Maxroll make the updates yet? Updates for what exactly? I mean like resource posts? Like talking about the expansion stuff or what? Like we don't have all the build guides out right now. Like, it'll be trickling down the next day or so. Oh, you mean the campfire news and full patch notes? We should have that. Yeah, we should definitely have that. I think this setup is going to do relatively well. So I'm able to fit both of these, but the issue is going to be damage reduction. So this is going to be one of those play far back, trying not to get hit type builds because I have no DR from no plus ranks to shroud, no damage reduction from like let's say Shaco, no Tyrio's might damage reduction stuff. So this is one of those, you know, the ultra glass cannon setups, which I guess fits me, fits the profile. Also won't be able to proc this as much either because I just literally took Starless. So I'd be less reliant on getting the Shadow Clone proc, so less uptime on Stoppable, and probably a little less uptime on No Witness as well. But my direct damage in general is, or my just overall damage buffs are just going to be pretty massive here. Does Jin work with basic skills as well? Yeah, it does. Like in terms of casting is concerned, yes, because the basic skill is a skill. I'm not really taking Yin for the unique affix. I'm taking Yin for the resistance, the all resist. Because Yin is a very so like Rakanov and Yin's are two really good unique boots that offer a lot of all res, like all resistance. That so it kind of makes it easy to cap your resistances pretty early. So since the boost slot isn't really that important, to be honest with you, like the boost slot is just kind of meh on rogues and anyways. This is an easy way to be able to kind of like throw that in there and like be able to not have to run, let's say, Tyrio's Might or something, because you can get your res easy here, right? So, otherwise you'll have to kind of like really finagle this and like get really specific on your resistances and then make sure you hit all the things in the Paragon board, which obviously you're not gonna have enough points to do it early enough for it to matter. So it gets really interesting, I guess you could say. Wait, am I running both new uniques, mythic uniques? So for this, this is my personal setup actually. So I'm a personal setup. I'm probably gonna do this. I wouldn't recommend it, but because I think it's a bit too glassy to run. But like I'll give you an example. So like the Maxroll setup, it's gonna be either one of these. So you'll have the Tyrio's Might with Beastfall boots. Then yeah, and then you basically get your cooldowns off pretty quickly. You're not worried about being resource starved. You got your damage reduction, ultimate cooldown reduction, so you should be able to spam Shadow Clone very often and get all this stuff off of cooldown often. And then if Lucian works, which is the setup I really want to do, then you have the Crown Lucian here instead, and Starless Ring or Starless Skies here, and this will get your cooldowns off the fastest by far. Still need Beastfall boots, but cooldowns will come off so quickly that you can actually use runes based around cooldown and cast ultimate skill to be able to keep these things up 100% of the time. So this is a very good, feel good setup. I mean, super feel good. So, but I don't know. People have said this works now with adaptability, so I'm not. These are trusted sources, but I want to be ultra careful to make sure that it actually does work. Before actually like making it like an actual Maxroll guide. When the tier list and build guides come out on Maxroll, it'll start trickling down this weekend. So think like Saturday, Sunday. A lot of us are still working very hard on the build guides because, not to spoil it for you guys, but the new our new templates, our new design templates for our build guides are way better. Way better. So when you guys actually see it, I'm not going to show you right now. But when you guys see it, you're going to be like, yo, this is so much better. This is so much cleaner. $100 gifted if I show you. Or you can just save your money and like look at it tomorrow. Right? Without 100 gifted. But I mean, but I will I will say that it's a lot of work transitioning into the new template stuff, which is what's taken us the longest to do. So interestingly enough, I've already did most of my template stuff already. So I can personally just not worry about it, right? At least the template stuff. So like I did the hard stuff first. Now I'm kind of going back and like touching up on the planners for the builds I gotta do. So rapid fire, Heartseeker, Barrage. I'm not doing Flurry anymore. We got a new guy on Maxroll now who's a Flurry main. So it just kind of makes sense for him to do Flurry. So you'll see him doing it. So I gave him the guide. I was like, have fun, have at it. But yeah, so there's Barrage, and whatnot. So I got the main planners done, but I gotta actually like peel them apart and like start doing subsets and whatnot. I've already did a little bit on rapid fire, but speaking of rapid fire, Crafty, I do need to talk to you at some point. I'll just message you obviously because I wanna be able to make a section for what you're doing. I'll probably just say it like that. I didn't get a chance to do it in season 5, but I really want to do it in season 6. This season, Renovaro's Rogue will be the only thing I play. I waited for this way too long. It's fun. I'd probably say this is probably the most fun Renovaro's has been. So, I definitely don't blame you. Okay, so with that being said, let me go back to Heartseeker real quick. I don't really want to name these because I don't want people looking at them so far. I want people to think that these are not finished on purpose. So this is dice setup here. This is crown setup. The Picha on Flurry. I wish Picha was on Maxroll. That'd be pretty cool. Get some grenade stuff happening too. But no, there's another Flurry enthusiast. We know Picha for that because he's in my community, so like everyone knows here that he does. But there's someone else that also in that community that does, or in the Flurry community, I guess you could say, who's very good at that. So he'll be doing the leveling and the in-game thing. Which again, like I said, I'm totally not sad about. I mean, it makes a lot more sense for someone who mains that to actually build that. So, no hard feelings at all. I'm actually happy about it because, it will continue to get the attention it deserves. I know I tried to not say that. Really, I really did. I try to make sure I pronounce that correctly. All the syllables and everything. He said, so you weren't playing T4 this season? I think, honestly, Timos, I think, so Rain of Arrows, I'll put it this way, Rain of Arrows may be able to eventually get there. It'll take a hell of a lot longer than some of the other builds to get there, but it'll be one of those progression things that if you really, really like a certain skill and you don't mind really having to level the glyphs pretty high and being almost near min max before you can actually bother with T4, then that's okay, right? But then there'll be others who want to get the T4 ASAP, and then of course you need a different build for that, obviously. I wonder what the Venn diagram between furries and flurries is. Yeah, I honestly don't even know if I can make a yeah, so no, this is mine, so we'll need to, we'll put that there. We'll just name it OP so I don't get confused. So this would be the end game setup of it. I need to keep this as a just in case backup. And then clone this. And then remove all the uniques, all the mythic uniques, to make a end game setup without uniques. Ancestral version of this. So I would need to so this has to be a regular chest. And I still have to do beast swap boost though there. So that really hurts the whole all resistance part of things. Dex. Armor? No, let's do all res. And then Dark Shroud, of course. But yeah, Dell, I'll be following your progress, man. Let me know how that works out for you, when the game launches. I love seeing cool things like that, man. More things like that really needs to exist. Civ. Okay, so I need to do armor percent, I think. See what's my armor look like right now? 21. Actually, is it really that high? also did a pretty good job of covering that in general. Okay, I guess. I guess we don't really need armor percent here. I guess we can do second win. Second win. Barrier generation. Smoke grenade duration. Why not? I'll just set on that, of course. Where's I put my RS though? Oof, that is low. So the ancient versions of these builds are designed for like T2, T3. At least that's how we have it on Maxroll. So I need to get them to reach 150 basically in terms of my resistances. And I have to get rid of Starless guys too. Oh man. Alright, this actually might be kind of tough. And you can't run Lucian first. Because we won't have Starless yet. Lucian costs too much. Even with Beastfall boots. So you might have to do Cal, the Nameless. Die, I'm sorry, I'm going Spiritborn. I don't want to struggle to get Glyphs 100 and Paragon 300. I mean, I get it. I get it. I guess that's all I really can say. Like, I just I don't know how much of what we saw in the review copy of the game is going to be that. It's going to be what we think it is going into launch. Like I know how like I'm always confident in saying that the PTR version of the game and then the launch version of the game is always completely different, which is always true. I'm not confident in saying that from the review to the launch, but I will say, without giving too much information out, because I'm not even supposed to even be saying much about this, but there are quite a few bugs that will be fixed that was not mentioned in the 2.0.2 patch. I don't know what they are, and even if I knew, I couldn't tell you. But so I don't know. But like if I had to base everything off the review build, like just completely off the review build, I'm 100% with you, Riptide. I can probably tell you, yeah, that makes sense. All right, Dad, what rogue builds are S tier? Hard to say because a lot of people didn't play other classes during the review game. Like I saw almost no one play Druid. Maybe 1 or 2 people play Necro, maybe. 1-2 people might have played Sork. There was 2 rogue players, me and Mippy. 1 barbarian player, I think, and no, I don't know what he really said about anything. So we don't really have a good baseline of what all the builds for all the classes can do. So it's hard to really say what builds are S tier versus what other classes are because most people didn't play the other classes. I mean, all we can really compare against is the Spiritborn. So like if we're comparing against Spiritborn, then no one has S tier builds. If the Spiritborn bugs go through. If Touch of Death goes through, then nothing comes close. Right? Cruel Shot is not as strong as Touch of Death, but even that is still miles better than a lot of other builds from a lot of other classes. But again, those are based off of bugs, so we don't know how that's gonna happen. But if you're talking about interclass, like just rogues in general, I mean, Victimized Dance of Knives is pretty much S tier, and mostly it, I think. Um, you have some A plus tier stuff like Rapid Fire, Heartseeker, or whatnot. Flurry's like mid A, low A, which is actually a really nice for Flurry because it's never been there before. Um, but it just depends. Again, Decimized, Victimized has 7 bugs associated with this, so if any of those gets fixed, then hard to say where that ends up at the end of the day. Okay, so 118, 130. Okay, we need to get rid of this ring. Dex. Vulnerable damage. Let's do attack speed there. I guess Retribution is the only other thing I'm gonna put here, right? Retribution. Yeah. We'll scale this to 12. Stop defaulting up for me, please. Why does it do that? Fine. There you go. Do it that way. So still hold and be a minute with your agility cooldown. Second wind. Barrier generation. Probably don't even need barrier generation with that many ranks in second wind then. I don't really know what else to really put there. And I might have to use the chest piece as purely utility defense stat stuff. All res here. I still gotta reach 150 though. That's 122 because I lost the Starless. SpongeBob, what's going on? Did I play the Vessel of Hatred as well? Just like the other partners did? I did. Sure did. Beastfall boots being mandatory makes it difficult to manage the all resistance early on. I can't go crown until I get Starless. The planner, Maxroll planner already updated as same as a new season. All the builds are not out right now. So like the season 6 builds are not out right now. At least not yet. They will be starting tomorrow. It'll start trickling down tomorrow. Jesus, what's going on, man? I wonder if I should just do a regular helm instead of doing Cal and Nameless. Because then I can at least roll all res on it. And it'll be easier to kind of hit the 150 T3 cap. Because otherwise I'm like legit struggling to get enough all res. I guess I could do, actually, where am I on armor? Or if it might have got nerfed? Not really. Well, technically, yes. A bug got fixed with it, but it's really, we didn't even know. Maybe and I didn't even know that it got nerfed. But they changed the way it worked mechanically. That's the big thing. That's the thing we notice the most. Like the way it works now is just changed mechanically. So like we didn't even know that there was that a nerf actually happened on the review copy. We had to ask what it was. What's the armor for T? What's the armor cap for T3? Is it 1750? I'm always so concerned about T4 that I kind of forgot what it is in T3. Fire. I really don't feel like masterwork or having the masterwork this. Masterwork RS. If I don't run Beast Fall Boost, people will get pissed at me. But Beast Fall Boosts are cock blocking my res right now. Or easy way to get res, I'll put it that way. Might even have to roll off the attack speed here. Resistances, which is rough. That would solve it, but that's actually, you know what we could do? Could just leave it at this. So I'm probably going to suggest the whatchamacallit anyway. One of the mercenaries that's going to give you plus 15% resistances anyway. Or maybe I don't need to max out Dark Shroud, which sounds crazy, but I mean that would do it technically. It's kind of hard. What can I do with Paragon board wise? Gotta remove a lot of these points anyway. Could totally go here. Pick up like all these res nodes here. 1.5, 3. It's also the third board too, so I guess it's not that far out. 3, 6, 9, 7. 4.5 plus 6 is 10.5. Yeah, I mean, by build on Spiritborn, forgot to select T4. Everything is in the mud. Need more, yeah. It's not even like selecting T4. It's more so like, I guess do the math basically. So like I know like generally what the math is between, like for instance, like for my res for like T3 for instance, I'm gonna need like 150% the cap at T3, right? So you saw my new victimized build. That's not that's not new anymore. That's like a month old. That's like PTR stuff. Um, I wouldn't refer to that right now. But in terms of questions, if you have any questions, sure, I got you. Um, to change the scaling, well, because yeah, because weapon damage it's based off of weapon damage now. Victimize has been changed to be based off of weapon damage. So like you're not, at the time I was not building around making Heartseeker itself strong, but from the review build, I went back to actually building to make Heartseeker itself hit hard because it can, and it doesn't really affect Victimize as much. It's kind of more of a hybrid now, if I had to kind of give you what it's doing now. So you want to build around both. I'll have the guide out obviously pretty soon, like on Maxroll. In fact, right now I'm actually trying to put it together in terms of the non-mythic version right now, which is hard because trying to cap res is hard. Like I feel like this is fine, but it's very peculiar, man. Armor is concerned. Armor is capped. So I guess we're fine armor wise. Try to keep up with changes like this. Well, that's totally my job, man. My job is to keep up with changes like this. I have to. So if it's based on weapon damage, is it only a bow passive? What do you mean? Well, bow or crossbow, basically. That has too much text on the screen. I guess we can do a masterwork like this. It's just kind of weird to just like two masterworks in all res. I really don't want to mess with the pants because you're gonna keep the pants. So if anything, I guess we can just masterwork the chest to be what it is. What does that? What does that give me? I guess we close. So close quarters combat for melee. Close quarters combat isn't a bad spot. Because Elga's bounty finally worked with cold clip. It sure does not. It does not. That's the reason why there's cold imbuement on the bar. But you still have to proc it with a different skill. Maybe they'll fix it at launch. We don't know, but because but the review version of the game definitely did not give me that impression that they're going to or that they did. So yeah, about that. I guess I'm gonna overcap stuff here because I think mm, we'll save this. What's my What runes did I use here? You travel 5 meters for that. Gotta skill the cooldown, Dark Shroud. Okay. I'll probably do the same thing here then. How does increased vulnerable damage really works? It's all damage to vulnerable enemies. So yeah, if the enemy is vulnerable, then that type of damage works. If they're not vulnerable, then that damage doesn't work at all. So you'll I'm gonna have to explain to people to make sure that they from Umbrus until they get the Mott rune. Otherwise, that'll be shit out of luck. Actually, I just realized something. So if I did percent total armor here, put my armor at what? 2100. Okay, I could probably get rid of another gem. And go flawless diamond. That puts my armor at what? 1826. Okay, so that'll still be capped armor wise. Yeah, and that should cap me resistances. Yeah, okay, it does. I guess I don't have to be so aggressive on this either. I could probably just do 1, 2, 49.9. Sure, that'll work. That's fine. Given that people probably don't have the whatchamacallit, we'll just there. So I guess that is done in terms of ancestral. So we'll let me rename this so I don't remember. So I don't. It doesn't really matter where I put this. I changed the whatchamacallit anyway. Actually, wait a minute. Let's put it there. See what happens. It should come up with the same URL. Seen. It's weekly cash for doing the Citadel. Yeah, but you do the Citadel. The weekly cash for the Citadel is really not why you do the Citadel, honestly. Um, it's like you would want to speed run the Citadel at some point, like on a lower difficulties for runes and things and scrolls. But um, but then of course like this T3, T4, if you really want to do it for like the challenge. And of course there's more rewards involved, like bigger rewards, bigger other rewards you already get involved in that. Well, so there is that. I think I messed with rapid fire further than this, did I? I didn't. Set 15. 16. Without the mythics. Wait, I'm getting rid of all traps and fire and control. Did I play Spiritborn? I did. Well, not. I didn't play it in the review. I didn't play it in the review portion of the game, but I did play Spiritborn before. It's not in the review copy of the game. I mean, because everyone else was playing it, so it was like I think it was important for me to kind of play test rogue stuff. So I didn't bother. Do I like Spiritborn? Spiritborn is a very, very, very well designed class. And pretty OP, honestly. Honestly, like some builds are scaling extremely well. I don't know how much of that is going to actually make it past or make it to launch, but I guess we'll see. But the class design itself is like super cool. They did a fantastic job of that. Yeah, it did. It's a very well designed class. I kind of hope that other classes kind of get that same attention going forward. I think we're gonna have last minute nerfs before launch. We will definitely have last minute bug fixes. Yes. Like bug fixes that was not mentioned in the patch notes or whatever. Yes, that's gonna happen. That's why like I temper my expectations on certain things, like based on like what I played on like the review copy of the game, because it's like, sure, this is what we saw in a review build, but um, but asterisk, you know what I mean? Um, but I mean, I think that should be expected by now. I don't think people should be surprised. Like people are, people put out videos and stuff, and it's like I'm gonna build that, right? And then it happens, and then it's like, wait a minute, I thought this performed a certain way or whatever. And it's like, yeah, well, that was bugged. So that's kind of why I have such a very meh response to like builds that are based around several different bugs, because it's like, yeah, how long, like how much of that is going to actually stick around, and will it actually make it to launch, etc., etc. Although I will say anything that happened in the review copy of the game is more likely to make it to launch because of how close it is to launch. So there is that, right? Build? Oh no, I don't have anything right now. Uh, to show at the moment. I'm working on stuff for Maxroll now. Blizzard isn't known for fixing bugs quickly. That is very true. I'm just saying, like, just expect anything to happen. Um, No shut they drop for nerf patch like the one we got at D4 launch. Well, the one that we got at D4, so it wasn't really a big nerf patch at D4 launch. There was a nerf patch during D4, like during the period between D4 launch and season 1, they did do nerf patches, but they didn't do it like day 1. So that's different. I think people might remember that differently, but no. What I'm saying is there will be bug fixes that are not mentioned in 2.02 patch. I don't know what that's going to be. I don't know what that is, but I'm just saying that like not everything we saw right now on YouTube in terms of certain builds doing certain things may make it to launch. Keyword is may. Actually, why do I have Umbrus there? Yeah, I did put Umbrus there. I guess it's because that's to make it easier for anyone doing what they're doing. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Had to change the runes out to make sure it makes sense. Yeah, so this is what capped on resistances, capped on armor, easy because I had to have Rakonoffs. Capped armor. Dodge chance. Guess we'll leave it at there. Yeah, again, you're gonna have to point one of these bugs out because there might be some items that are overtuned but not bugged. Well, I mean, touch of death. This has a ginormous scaling bug, kind of almost like combo points rogue bug. Back then, so like that's probably the video that you've probably seen the most of right now on YouTube because it's like Spiritborn strongest build. So I'd be surprised if that makes it launch. But no, I mean Spiritborn does have bugs. He's looking more the Quill one. So I'm not sure about that one, Djibouti. I haven't heard anything that there were any bugs associated with that so far. So I haven't heard anything. I do know Touch of Death for sure, and there's a couple of other ones. I've not heard anything about Quill in terms of it not performing the way it's supposed to. I'm gonna play Whirlwind Rogue Sword. Nope. Honestly, I have no interest in Dance of Knives, especially with all the bugs you have to perform for it to perform well. It's very clunky and not fun. Now, leveling Dance of Knives is something I might actually do. That's actually a lot of fun. And it's very quick. But in-game Dance of Knives with Victimized, the way that you have to build it, it's tragic, in my opinion. From a playstyle perspective, it's tragic. What am I missing? I'm missing something here. Is what did I change? Is oh, okay, I see. Regular boots. That's what it is. So can't go. see. Um. Do I leave it? Do I leave it as it is and just not worry about vision? It's likely that they may not have chance to stun, and without it, retribution doesn't really work or exist. So I think I might leave it as it is. By the time you get mythics or whatever like that, you should be able to roll the correct temper on there. Retribution and actually make an appearance. I gotta make sure I note that in the guide though. Don't know if you can answer this, but let's say I'm in a group, I'm up by myself doing a realm walker, and I'm inside getting close to the end. Can your teammates TP to you and then finish it? I honestly didn't try that. I don't know. I will say that there are rewards inside of it. Like there are portals. There's like two different portals that open that leads to a treasure chest with rewards in it too. So even if you could do that, you'll be missing out on like some rewards specific to the Realm Walker and those two chests just for the last chest at the end. Which still might be better if you can farm other stuff and then TP in later. But you only get the opals at the end, right? You only get the opals at the end. Yeah. But I wonder if you can do that though. I don't know. I don't know if anyone who tried that. I mean, if there's anyone who would have tried that, it would have been Rob, right? So. I assume Andari's Barrage is still S-tier? Nope. Andario's is practically a dead item. But I guess I could just copy this from here though, right? How do I make the transition easier? As days. So just don't do days. Okay, yeah, I can just make the transition a lot easier, so people don't have to sit there and like re-imprint uniques or whatever. All right, re-imprint aspects. Expectant. Edge. I hate having to build so conditional, man. But it's hard to deny like how often you're gonna be doing content and things that where unconditional damage is still kind of reigns king. What changed for the build exactly? A lot. I mean, it's a completely different season. They changed how the proc work itself. It won't proc as often. Multipliers have changed. Quite a bit has changed actually. Reason why I was asking, I was thinking for leveling my 4-man group, I could split into two, where two of us could go do one aspect dungeons while the two Realm Walker and a TP to the Realm Walker people for the turn in. That's a really good idea. I would test that. Like, I'm actually curious to see if that actually works. That actually makes sense. That's a good strategy. I just don't know if it actually works that way. Or anything about Centipede Spiritborn. Centipede Spiritborn is very good for leveling. It's also probably the best push setup, from what I hear. But it sucks for I'm gonna say sucks for everything else, but it's like like for speed farming and things like that, for doing any other content besides pit pushing, Centipede seems to not be as welcomed. I'll put it that way. Stinger is pretty cool though. You have to start the campaign. Yeah, you do have to start the campaign. Like you have to do the campaign. So for piss is really high end game, yes. I think this is good here. I think we're good. Sure, get the skills there. Kind of like the whole dual imbuement thing again. So much preferred. Yeah, I guess that's it. And then I guess I have to make a starter planner for this too as well. So let's do Barrage now. I actually really like this setup. It's just struggles on bosses, man. Did my Twitter really get hacked? Yeah. I don't know if you've looked at it in the recent, but unless I put a Michael Jackson and started really posting OnlyFans type content on Twitter, I'm sure you don't believe that that's me. He said, "Do I know that balancing certain passive from Spiritborn works if you don't cast a core skill? Like is it auto casted? Honestly, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure about that one. Jimmy, what's going on? Okay, but yeah, like this setup is so good to play. It's like such a really good feel good setup build. So I'm just sad that you're gonna just struggle on single targets though. But it's fun, and that's all I can do for this. Um, okay, I gotta make another set. I gotta make one without mythics here. So what we got? Tamwatt. Have to go Cal. Tax. Tamwatt. And regular chess. I've seen tooth dentists in both say doing root canal on my tooth is a no-go. Really? Why not? What happened? Do you remember which dungeon you had to run for the champion quest after the campaign? I don't remember honestly. Yeah, I don't remember. X. Armor? Actually, could do Umbrus. Well, kind of don't want to though. Undying actually might actually be pretty good. No, I mean you're still good on siphoning strikes though, but I don't know. Sure, we'll do Undying. Yeah, pretty much that's it. Just you're playing this up close, I guess you can use the additional whatchamacallits this early. Where are we resistance wise? Okay, we're still overcapped. Second win. Ooh, we're like got a lot of armor. Yeah, so yeah, we can just go max health here then. Second win, and then I actually don't have. You know what I don't have? I just realized I don't have. I guess there's Caltras, but I don't have any freeze chance. Need that. Oh, that's where my armor came from. Still 22. Okay, so I still have a lot of armor. Diddy parties don't start to. Oh, I just don't want to do that dungeon early. You have to do it again later. I see what you mean. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, I don't remember. I wish I could tell you. Because on the Woody video, you just do 3 dungeons in Naruto and then you can pick. There you go. If you have a free cast a free skill to do X thing, you need to have at least 1 point in it to actually benefit from the full effect. I mean, if you want to benefit from the passive effects from it, yes, you have to put points into the passive effects. But if you just want to benefit from the effect of the skill itself, then nah. Because I mean, you're just gonna get the base skill anyway, whether you put a point into it or not. Yeah, actually, yeah. Why do I have stun chance here? Why do I have stun? I guess there is that for trick attacks, so sure. Okay. I shouldn't be spending too much time on this though. This is not gonna be a meta build. Said Zolam. Got it. Cry. The Dark Shroud. Got a pretty decent amount of health. Oh, I'm gonna remove that, huh? I guess Retribution could be here. Dex. Critical straight damage. Attack speed. I'm gonna go look at the breakpoints again, but this is fine for now. Damage. And I guess Innervation is probably the best bet here. Yeah, I think that's the way. Skull, and this should be the ancestral version. No mythic uniques. Yep. All right. I don't think I have to change anything skill wise. I think everything else works fine. Just name it ancestral. Yeah. Any thoughts on Blizzard changing more of the tempers from cast twice to deal double damage? So for Flurry, the biggest thing it affects on Flurry is whether or not you want to play Victimize or not. Because Victimize, you would rather for it to cast twice. But the reason why and same thing with Dance of Knives, like you would rather for cast it twice, just because that will give you more Victimize procs in that window. But the reason why they change stuff, that they change things like that, is to make it easier on the servers. So like technically speaking, it would amount to the same amount of damage if you were doing a direct damage build. But if you're doing a victimized build, it's actually a damage loss. You said you can't see season 5 paragons on my builds. Is it normal? Can you give me more information? Like, are you like what build guide are you looking at? Because right now, all of us Maxroll creators right now are about to transition into season 6 build stuff. So all that's going to be gone in about a day anyway. So all season 5 stuff is not gonna exist within the next 24 hours. So some of us are like right now are making adjustments and things. So like some things might get messed up in the process. You're looking at Barrage in game. Okay. Give me a sec. All right, so this is season 5 Barrage in game. I gotta look at it from live. Wait, actually, I see. Okay, yeah, it kind of did break the thing. Hmm. Is this what it looked like to you? Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So on the website, it'll probably look like this, but in game, it shouldn't. Like it should be the same. So like the reality is that you should have a point that connects these two right here. But unfortunately, for some reason, the planner itself, there's some mix-ups between live and early access that this one doesn't connect. So I don't know why it's that way for Cheap Shot. But yeah, so there is a node right here that you take that connects these. It's just broken on the link, whatever. It's just one node, but everything else still works. Like once you connect that one node, it'll work. Actually no, it's actually more than that. The same thing here. Yeah, the planner really did get mucked up there. Weird. Yeah, I mean, a quick fix, because it's only going to be up for a day before it changes. A quick fix would be literally having a point right here that connects here, and then I will take the 7 strength node right here, the +7 strength node here, that's supposed to connect, and connect it there. And that should do it. So just those two. Yeah, everything else looks like it's mostly normal there. Yeah, sorry about that, man. We're yeah. Sometimes some of these things do get bugged out when we're making adjustments or changes to planners and stuff. Yeah, let me know if that works out for you. Where that now? I think I was. Barrage there. Go back to. Uh, where's my drop down? Wait, did they already combine the stuff? What's it right now? They did yeah, it looks like they've already combined. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, they've already combined early access and live already. So now that the live the Paragon boards are gonna look different now. Let me make sure. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Yep. So no longer there's a PTR. Yeah. So this is all live stuff now, or just one planner thing now. I swear, because I was just working out of early access. Like I had the little options up here, but I don't have them anymore. That is hold on. Let me see if the other one's still. So this is Heartseeker. Let's take a look at Heartseeker full. Okay, so Yeah, so I guess whatever we were working on has been converted over already. Huh. Okay. Teacher, what's going on, man? Yeah. So yeah, I totally see the confusion now, Lip, for sure. Sorry about that, man. That's in the back end. I can't control that. Kazar, what's going on, man? Good to see you back. Reckon you were hella busy with the preview build and preparing content. Yeah, pretty much. The review build and also guide writing on Maxroll taking a lot of my time. So these are the champion has you do 1 stronghold, 3 dungeons, and open 5 hell tie chests. Do you remember if it does anything else? No, that's it. Nope, that is it. But yeah, you can just pick any of the 3 dungeons basically, and Nahatu. Yeah, I think honestly this is all we can do right now. Everything else I have to kind of do in the back end, so I'm gonna have to take off right now so I can finish up my guys in the back end, guys. But I do appreciate all you guys who normally chill out on my stream and support that you're still here, even though I haven't been on for a while. So I totally appreciate that. What am I gonna be starting as? Rogue, probably Rogue. I will do Spiritborn later at some point, but I'm gonna start with Rogue. I think there's just way too much right now that we're kind of walking into the unknown going into launch that I feel like I need to be a part of in terms of testing. So I think, I mean, in terms of like notable rogues that you'll know streaming or playing Rogue at launch would be me and Mippy for sure. I think Lucky's doing Spiritborn. But like a lot of your, I guess, Rogue content creators, I put it that way. I'll say content creators are probably playing Spiritborn. So like, I think I want to try to get all the stuff that I feel like is going to be different at launch. Get those covered first. Get the guys updated again, and then I'll hop on some like Spiritborn stuff. But it'll be like about maybe 2 weeks or so, two and a half weeks of Rogue, and then it'll be like Spiritborn stuff, some Spiritborn stuff, of course. Said no problem. You're my background noise. Why you play VG3? Mika, what's going on? All right, but yeah, so I do gotta log off here and get my work done for Maxroll and whatever. I will say again for those who didn't hear what I said earlier, the Maxroll guides, the format, all that stuff is significantly better than it was before. So like I'm really hyped to show you guys. Well, I can't show you now, obviously, but I'm really hyped when you guys see the new template, the new template builds or whatever formats that we did, because we spent a lot of work making sure it looks real good. Are the guys out yet? Not yet. They'll be trickling in today, like Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, when you actually see what it looks like, man, it's like so it's very clean. It's very clean looking. Yeah, it's very clean looking. It definitely, you look at that and then you look at the old guides, like the templates and stuff, and you're like, man, that's a big difference. It's a lot easier to digest too. Just gonna put it that way. But it's a lot of work on that end, changing to the new format. So that's kind of what's been taking a lot of our time. Thing on mobile, it's definitely cleaner on mobile too as well. Mac made sure of that, trust me. Mac and Dread, I believe, Dread side as well. Very peculiar about that. But anyhow, I'm gonna take off. I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll have most of my guys done tomorrow, so you won't see me doing any planner stuff. I just don't really know what to do tomorrow for stream though, because it's like we kind of talked about everything, and now we're just kind of waiting for the expansion. So, I might play a different game tomorrow night. Who knows? Um, It'll be a short stream just like this one, just because, you know, I'm gonna be giga blasting for like an entire week straight come Tuesday, so I'm not gonna stream for too long until then. Is it good to hear? Keep up the good work. Yeah, man, good stuff. Let's go to somebody. Have I been to? Have I ever rated Strawberry Milk Skiss? It sounds like a name I've rated before at some point. It showed up on my recommended channel, so I'm just like, huh. And I'm wondering if it's because I rated her at one point. But I want to go to someone new. All right, we'll go here. Let's see. All right. Well, I'll see y'all tomorrow night, or I guess tonight. Again, it'll be a short stream. Might play a different game. We'll still talk about some D4 stuff, but I'll probably hop on a different game for some fun. And but other than that, appreciate y'all being here. And as always, until next time.